What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Ultra League submitted to the channel by Tangy Platypus, who's running Shadow Alolan Sandslash, Galarian Moltres, and Ribombee. Now I know Homesize Henry showcased Ribombee just the other day, but outside of that I've never seen anyone else running it, and it has a pretty unique and honestly fairly good typing for the current Ultra League meta, as it can core break a lot of common teams. So with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon with a unique or relatively unique typing with the potential to core break common meta threats because of that typing would you like to see receive a move update next season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead into Giratina, and this is actually really good for the entire team. Well, I suppose Galarian Moltres isn't running a dark type move, and if they're running Ancient Power, then it's probably slightly better for the Giratina, but overall pretty good for our team. The opponent massively over farming here. We go for an Ice Punch number 2. This grabs a shield, and the fact they farm so much means they're probably running Shadow Force. We're going to respect the damage, and it is the Shadow Force, so very good shield usage. At this point, we can fully commit to the Shadow Claw farm down. This should just be a resisted Dragon Claw. No, it's actually an Ancient Power, so very interesting combination from the opponent. They come in with, I believe that was a Talonflame, so unfortunately we're only going to get off one Ice Punch as the Incinerate damage does take us out, and now they do make it to a potential Brave Bird. They might Brave Bird and dip in this matchup, and that's exactly what they do. That does big damage. They swap into Steelix, and this would be an awful matchup for almost every bug type in the game, but actually we resist everything in this matchup as well. Obviously Steelix going to be resisting our damage too, but it doesn't really matter here. The opponent goes for the Earthquake. That is resisted. Honestly, a lot better that they go for the Earthquake instead of the Breaking Swipes, because otherwise we would do basically no damage whatsoever. So really nice that they did go for the Earthquake there. We make it to yet another Bug Buzz. Ribombee incredibly spammy here with that Fairy Wind fast move, and at this point we're just going to let the move go through. They bait with a Breaking Swipe. We can easily tank the next Breaking Swipe as well, and I believe we're just going to swap immediately, and the opponent swaps at the same time. We can overfarm just a little bit, go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power will obviously take out the Talonflame, and we should be able to make it to a resisted Brave Bird up against the Steelix, and this will still be enough damage to take out the Steelix, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see another Giratina in the lead. The opponent swaps into Cobalion. We should be swapping out here, but no, we actually wait a little bit and force the opponent to throw a Sacred Sword, which is double resisted on our Ribombee. And actually, against Cobalion, our team is fairly neutral here, so it is quite good to catch a resisted, well, double resisted move and waste a bit of their energy, because down on energy, Ribombee probably struggles in this matchup. And you can see they bait with another Sacred Sword here, so we're actually going to double shield in this matchup. I don't know how much damage a Stone Edge does, but probably from this range it would threaten taking us out. So we go for the full farm down, and they've got Cresselia in the back, so we might be down 2 shields, but we are instantly going to grab those shield back from the opponent as we drop their defense with the first Bug Buzz. This is also going to grab a shield there, and Ribombee is putting in so much work. Obviously, we don't get Cresselia very low as they do double shield, but now we're looking very comfortable. We come in with the Alolan Sandslash, and we go for a Draw Run, which is non-stab, but it's actually slightly better or does more damage than the Ice Punch, so I do agree with it in this matchup. And at this point, I think we might be able to put them into range where we can just go for Ice Punch. This won't quite take them out just yet, but we should be able to Shadow Claw, farm them down, but no, they actually live with 1 HP, so probably should have gone for Draw Run a second time around, but it doesn't really make a difference. We can go for an Ice Punch immediately and then swap into our Galarian Moltres, and even though we don't have the payback, a Brave Bird should be enough damage to take them out, and the opponent just concedes the match there. Into the next game, a much worse lead for this team as we lead into Toxicroak, but the opponent responds with Cresselia. Unfortunately, once again, not running payback, but let's just see. The opponent going to go for a charge move here, and they go for Grass Knot, and that is very telling. There is no reason for a Cresselia to bait in this matchup, so we can now just go for Brave Bird here, because we're not really in threat of the opponent going for a charge move to take us out here, so we can actually quad debuff our defense. Doesn't matter, this is just going to be another Grass Knot, or maybe a Future Sight. Either way, it is resisted. They do make it to another charge move, but we're actually going to let the Moltres go down. We're not going to fight for switch. Instead, we're going to come in with Sandslash. I I agree with this play 100%. Gonna go for a massive Shadow Claw farm down, so if the opponent comes back in with their Toxicroak, we can go straight for a drill run, and this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. It does exactly that, and we're actually able to make it to another drill run. All shields are down, and it nearly one-shots them. It doesn't quite, but they leave with just a Mud Bomb loaded. It is resisted damage, so we do tank that very comfortably. We've got 2 shields and a Ribombee. What can we do up against the opponent here? They've got a Drapion in the back, not ideal for us, but this is too soon to be a Sludge Bomb. We're going to shield anyways, just an Aqua Tail. I'm not really sure how much damage or how much the Poison Stings are going to add up over time, so we play it safe. We are going to shield the first 2 charge moves, and we've just got to be wary of a catch from the opponent, but they swap out too soon. We're going to go for the farm down, but they make it to another charge move. But it's just a Grass Knot. We live that. We come out with 100 energy. We can go... Wait, what? What happened there? We should have got off the charge move there, but I believe we just got robbed by Niantic as we weren't able to do so. That really sucks. Luckily, this trainer is already legend, so I'm sure they were a bit annoyed, but they probably didn't cry about it. But into the next game, we see Shadow Zapdos, so some nice spice from the opponent. They do full send the Thunderbolt. We're going to overfarm, but the opponent makes a really nice catch there, catching the Ice Punch onto their Galarian Weezing. We're going to swap into our Galarian Moltres. I'm not so sure about this play. Looks like we also lose CMP in this matchup. They go for the Play Rough. That does big damage. We're going for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power not going to do much damage in this matchup. But if they go for the Fairy Wind farm down, we will actually make it to a second Ancient Power. And this is really nice. This should be grabbing a shield or taking out the Weezing. We get that shield. And now at this point, we are going to come back in with the Sand Slash here. We don't have any energy. We are going to shield at the last second. It's an Overheat, so they were running Play Rough and Overheat. We're able to swap into Ribombee. We actually get the full farm down, which is massive. And the opponent has an Armored Mewtwo. Not really sure why they're coming in with the Armored Mewtwo here, but we can go for the Bug Buzz, dealing huge damage. They then swap back into Zapdos. They fire off the charge move immediately. Drill Peck takes out Ribombee, but we can now overfarm in this matchup. Armored Mewtwo is still a few confusions away from their charge move, so Ice Punch takes out the Zapdos. We go for the Ice Punch number 2 straight away. Does this take them out? Yes, it does, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see Tapu Fini in the lead, so we are going to stay in this lead matchup. We're going to go for a drill run immediately, and let's see, does the opponent want to shield this up? No, they're going to let the first one go through. They then swap into Skeledirge. We don't have a great response here. Skeledirge actually very good up against this team, as they can hit for super effective damage with the Disarming Voice here. Obviously, they are a Dark type, or sorry, a Ghost type, but we don't have any Dark type damage to throw at them. Ancient Power is still super effective though, and at this point, we can go for another Ancient Power. The opponent looks like they're overfarming to 100 energy, or at least back-to-back Disarming Voices. So at this point, I don't believe there's any point in throwing a charge move or shielding up either, so we are going to let that move go through. We can actually resist this, so we're going to let the move go through. It is just a Disarming Voice, and they come back in with their Tapu Fini. So all shields are down on the opponent's end, so I think the best play is to overfarm, farming to nearly back-to-back drill runs. This is perfect because drill run will take out the Tapu Fini. One more Shadow Claw, we make it to drill run number 2, also avoiding the Incinerate damage, taking out the Skeledirge, but unfortunately they've got Charizard in the back, and even with a shield advantage, there's nothing we could do there, so unfortunately we do just lose that game. But into the next game, we see Walrein in the lead. The opponent safe swaps into Cobalion, and once again we stay in, we draw out that Sacred Sword, immediately thrown, and we're able to catch it on the Ribombee. So really nice play there, and the opponent this time, actually we didn't get a Fairy Wind through, so they do slightly outpace us to the Stone Edge, but they full send the Stone Edge this time around. I think we built up to over 100 energy, so there might be a slight mistake there, but I don't think it really matters, as once again we're probably just going to double shield and fully farm them down, and they do go for Stone Edge the second time around. We get the farm down and we come out with quite a lot of energy. Now we're going to go for a Bug Buzz straight away into the Walrein, coming back in. That does nearly 50% of their health, and we make it to a second Bug Buzz as the opponent throws their energy. So this is perfect timing. Bug Buzz grabs a shield from the opponent, and we are going to let the Ribombee go down. Icicle Spear actually doesn't quite take us out, and they swap into Virizion, which is fine with us. We can come in with our Galarian Moltres. If they're running Stone Edge, this might be quite tricky here, but Stone Edge doesn't do that much damage. We can overfarm in this matchup, go straight for the Brave Bird here. here, and Brave Bird is going to grab the shield from the opponent. We then swap a combo play, go for the Ice Punch, and with the wing attack damage, we put them into Ice Punch range, and now the opponent has to make it to an Earthquake in time, but they're not able to do so before we make it to the Drill Run. Drill Run takes out the Wall Rain, and we take that game. Into next game, another Tapu Fini in the lead, and the opponent's going to save swap into Talonflame, and we are quite slow to swap out there. Eventually swapping into Moltres, it's quite unlikely on the save swap that they do go straight for Brave Bird, so we let the first move go through, and to throw on good timing, we are going to throw straight away, going for the Ancient Power. It doesn't quite take them out, which is perfect, because then we get the wing attack farm down. They come back in with Tapu Fini, and I fully agree with going for the Brave Bird straight away, because if they let it go through, it's going to do big damage, but also it debuffs our defense, so they get slightly less water gun farm. We come back in with the Sand Slash. We don't make it to a draw run, but does the opponent know that? I don't think they did, as they use their shield. They've got Obstagoon in the back, and this is a really good matchup. The opponent can throw a charge move. They throw very early. It's just an Obstagoon, sorry. It's just an Obstruct. The opponent recognizing there's nothing they could do, and they just concede the match there. Into next game, we see Shadow Charizard in the lead. We have to stay in this matchup because Ribombee'S can do literally nothing. Everything is resisted, so we're going to stay in. We go for the Ice Punch, and we are going to... It looks like we're going to call a bait here. They full send the Blast Burn, which is unfortunate because now we come in with our Moltres, and they can make it to a second Blast Burn. We're probably going to have to shield. We do shield. It is the Blast Burn, but we do get the farm down. So let's see what they've got in the back. The opponent comes in with a Giratina, and we are going to go for a Brave Bird throwing on the CMP tie. But I believe that's a CMP tie with a potential Ancient Power, which is not ideal because now we are triple debuffed. Ancient Power would deal a ton of damage, so we have to shield. So I'm not sure about that play. We swap here into our Ribombee, and the opponent has Virizion in the back. I don't know how much damage a Stone Edge will do, but we full send a Dazzling Gleam, and we one-shot Virizion from nearly full health there. Insane damage, and now the opponent can go for an Ancient Power. Not going to deal that much damage. Can we make it to the Dazzling Gleam? We're not able to do so. If this is a Dragon Claw, it won't take us out, but it is the Ancient Power, and unfortunately they get the boost there. I think we needed to go for our own boost with the Ancient Power. That was our only win condition, because now we can go for the back-to-back Brave Birds, but it's just not going to be enough damage. Unfortunately, Brave Bird doesn't take them out. They make it to another Ancient Power, and Ancient Power will definitely take out the Galarian Moltres, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next game, we see Cresselia in the lead, so another Pokemon that our team typically does very well against. Going to stay in, go for the Drill Run straight away, throwing on the CMP tie, and the opponent is going to let the Drill Run go through. You can see this Cresselia is tanking the Shadow Claws and that Drill Run very comfortably, but also they can only throw resisted damage, so this is still a positive matchup for the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. We go for Drill Run number 2. And at this point, we probably can just Shadow Claw farm them down if we let the next move go through, if the opponent does choose to stay in. But actually, instead, we come in with our Galarian Moltres. We bait out an Obstagoon, which is quite interesting, considering Obstagoon would do very well up against our Sandslash. We go for the Ancient Power, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and the opponent is going to go for another Obstruct there, so debuffing our defense, boosting theirs, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to let the next move go through, and the opponent goes for a Night Slash, and then they get a boost, which is really unfortunate. We're now going to go for an Ancient Power, fishing for our own boost, and we do get the boost actually, and that allows us to make it to a Brave Bird. This is boosted, they buff their defense, but it still takes out the Obstagoon. They come in with Giratina, and it's looking pretty good for us. All we've got to do here is make sure the opponent doesn't make a catch onto their Cresselia. We're going to shield the first move, they go for the Ancient Power, and we're actually going to overfarm massively, but the opponent is still able to make that catch. Really good play. We fully undercharge, but it still takes out the Cresselia. Not ideal for us, but then we're able to retaliate with our own catch. Really nice play. Ancient Power doesn't take us out, and they actually make it to another charge move. They don't want to take the Ice Punch damage there, but we're happy to let the Sand Slash go down, and hopefully we will be able to make it to 2 more Dazzling Gleams. It looks like once again we did farm all the way up to 100 energy, so a bit of a mistake there, but it doesn't matter. We still make it to Dazzling Gleam number 2, taking out the Giratina, and we're able to take that game. And into possibly the final battle of this video, another Shadow Charizard. We've seen already the first time the opponent did actually no-shield our first Ice Punch, and we called a bait, and unfortunately they did go straight for the Blast Burn, so let's see if we play this differently. We are going to shield at the last second, but it's just a Dragon Claw, and then the opponent makes a catch onto their Virizion, so good play by the opponent, able to catch the super effective Ice Punch, but A charge move would have taken them out anyways from our Ribombee'S, so it doesn't really matter. The opponent goes for Leaf Blade there, so clearly not running Stone Edge, and this is great for us. We can overfarm a lot in this matchup, although our charge moves do cost quite a lot of energy, so we're actually going to go for an undercharge, and that is a really good play. We get the farm down, and we are very close to another charge move. Even if the opponent made it to a Dragon Claw, that would be resisted, so we make it to the Bug Buzz before they get the farm down. We swap into our Alolan Sandslash here, basically just forcing them to expend their energy. Blast Burn takes us out, and now can we sweep whatever is in the back with our Galarian Moltres? It ends up being a Greninja. We're going to show the first move here. Quite interesting actually, because we have to go for Brave Bird to take them out, and Brave Bird obviously would debuff our defense. But now we go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power grabs the shield, and now it's looking like we should be good here. We lose the CMP type, but unless they go for a Hydro Pump, we should be able to live anything. They go for Hydro Cannon, doesn't do much damage there. We're able to make it to the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird takes out the Greninja, and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.